How's it going, YouTube? Kyle, or Epic here, with another tutorial for you all on a nifty technique that will help you more efficiently create momentum rather than relying on building it from a far away distance just to do something that you will probably never do outside of the gym. And this is more specifically talking about the double conch. So I've set up 2 blocks here to use as my demonstration. And what I'm going to teach you is how to create the momentum, how to do it without needing a big running start. Because sometimes when you're starting on the other side of the gym, you're in the way of other people who are wanting to train, you're pissing off people who are wanting to cross tumble, you're doing a lot of nonsense when all you really need is just to learn how to create it yourself. So that's what I'm doing today. Let's get to it. With nothing more to do, let me demonstrate what I'm talking about first, and we'll go from there. So whereas most people would probably start all the way back here, what I'm going to do for you guys is actually start over here. And the reason being is because whatever momentum I build from there to here will be not much different than the momentum I'll build from here to the actual takeoff point. So, nothing more to do, double conch. Okay, so what I just did there was drop my weight and shot it forward. Normally you would start up there and you would kind of run up and you would build a lot of momentum, but the speed would be about the same. What you're doing is giving yourself a quick adrenaline kick and you're boosting it in a short amount of time and using all that energy to do this big conch, but you're also saving yourself time but teaching yourself technique rather than power. So remember, what I'm focusing on is not power, it's technique. So when you're dropping your weight, no matter what stance you're in, everything is just gonna drop. Your weight drops. By doing that, you're bending your knees. And the deeper your knees bend, obviously you don't want to go way low to the ground, but the deeper your knees bend, it's going to make a more effective kick start, because the amount of time it takes you to go from here to here should be about the same amount of time it takes you to go from here to there. So whereas you would bend here and kick off hard, that's giving you a lot of power by bending your knees far. Whereas if you normally started like bending your knee about that far and went to there, it's a little less power. So you have to kick off a lot harder from that start stance. And when you go, you got to keep that momentum moving so you can make it over the distance that you're going for, so you can use it to send it up in the height of the flip you're going for. Whatever you're going for, you have to keep it going. Don't let your chest stay too far forward because you don't want to start stumbling and force yourself into a roll. And when you're going into it, focus on technique. So for example, in the double conch, what I do for technique-wise is as I get up to it, I drop my weight, allow my chest to be kind of close to it, so when I push up, my momentum carries past that center point, and that center point is where you put your hands. So as my chest passes that center point here from being close, I push after it. So by pushing, because most of my weight is over here, I'm pushing in that direction, which will help traject me. On top of that, my front leg is pushing up hard to get me the height, and my back leg is driving up to help me get in this position so I can come down on that second conch and pull my chest up and my feet forward. So that's how it would be if you were to do a double conch. Let me show you how it would work using the same technique on a simple dive conch. So instead of starting way over there, I'm simply starting right here. Dropping my weight, shooting it forward. And this technique also works in examples like a dash. So, using the same technique, instead of starting on the other side of the gym, start about 15 feet back, same technique, using a dash. And then before I do this last one, using the same technique but on a dive roll, remember that this isn't so much an actual skill per se, it's just a challenge for you. And it'll help to save stress because you're not taking up all this extra space in the gym using a big runway that you don't need, but you're also allowing yourself to learn more about technique by focusing on creating momentum, staying within that technique boundary, so when you're doing the movement, you're focusing on the actual movement and not just throwing yourself. Because if I had a nickel for every time I saw somebody think that starting from the other side of the gym would help and try it and just fail miserably or the exact same way every time, I would probably have enough to buy a plane ticket to visit every one of you. So instead of starting way over there, I'm starting here. Drop your weight, shoot it forward. So when you're doing this, make sure you're not just throwing yourself. Just throwing yourself is not just going to do the trick for you. It's not just momentum that will get you past the obstacle or over the gap or to do what you're trying to do. It's more so technique. You can have all the momentum in the world, but it won't mean jack shit unless you have the proper technique that you've practiced by doing the basic fundamental movements to understand what exactly you're going for. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, it's not so much a skill, it's just a challenge for you guys. So if this helped you guys out, please throw some videos up on YouTube and post them as a video response so I can see that this worked for you guys. Unfortunately, there won't be any slow-mos after this, so I will leave you guys with a take great care and stay positive.